Hello everyone, before starting this lesson, please try the warm-up. Here's this triangle, it's a right triangle. I want you to solve for x. But I'd like you to see if you can solve it in 3 different ways. Using the primary trig ratio, sine, cos, or tan, using the sine law, and using the cosine law. So each way you should be getting the same answer because it's the same triangle and you're finding the same side. But I'd like to see if you can actually solve this in these 3 different ways. So pause the video, try the question, and see what you come up with. Here's 3 ways. If I look at the 30-degree angle and I label the sides opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent, I get tangent. I can use the tangent, opposite over adjacent, and I got 5.8. Now I could have also used the opposite and hypotenuse, which would be sine. So I could have said sine 30 equals x over 11.5 and solved, and I would still get the same answer. The second way, using the sine law, well, x matches up with the 30-degree angle. 10 would match up with 60 degrees. Solve using cross multiplying, so 10 times sine 30 divided by sine 60, I get 5.8 again. You could have also, instead of 10 over sine 60, you could have also did 11.5 over sine 90. That would also work in this spot. Lastly, the cosine law, well, x is the side I'm trying to find, 10 and 11.5 are the other 2 sides, and 30 degrees is the opposite angle. So I make sure I put those in the right spots. Make sure you do the square root at the end, and you also get the same answer, 5.8. So this is a review of the trigonometry that we have done so far. We've used sine, cos, tan, the primary trig ratios. We've used sine law, and we've used cosine law. Today is just putting all that together to solve problems involving oblique triangles. Remember, oblique triangles are non-right triangles. So we're going to be using either the sine law or the cosine law, or maybe even a mix of both, depending on the question. Now, to help us out, we need a way of deciding what trigonometry tool to use for each problem. And this is a helpful flowchart. It's actually a decision tree. So ask yourself a question: is it a right triangle? If the answer is yes, you're either going to use the Pythagorean theorem or sine, cos, tan, the primary trig ratios. Depends on what you know. So if it's a right triangle and you know 2 sides and want to find the other side, you just have to use Pythagorean theorem. If you don't know 2 sides and trying to figure out the other side, then use your sine, cos, or tan ratios. Now, what if your triangle is not a right triangle? Then ask yourself another question. Do you know an angle and its opposite side? That's that idea of the matching pairs, an angle and the side that's opposite to it. Do you know both of those? If yes, you can use the sine law in that question. If not, you're going to have to use the cosine law. So this is a helpful decision tree to help you make the decision of what tool to use. Now, another key idea is that some problems will require a combination of different trigonometry tools. So for example, in order to solve the problem, you'll have to do the cosine law. But in order to use the cosine law, you have to figure out one of the other sides first using another tool. So it's important that you can get to a place where you're able to break the problem down into simpler triangles and decide what information you can find. I'm going to go through some examples in this lesson of this idea where we start with a problem, we break it down into simpler parts, and then we use all the different kinds of trigonometry tools we've learned about to find little bits at a time until we have enough information to solve the problem. And one more piece of information before we get going on examples is this idea of a directional compass. If you've ever used a compass before, you know the needle always points to north. Now, a bearing is just a more precise way of getting a direction. So I can say walk north, or I can say walk 5 degrees from north. That's a bearing of 5 degrees. That's a very precise direction. You're not quite walking north, you're walking 5 degrees away from north, a little bit more to the east. So I have this drawing here. It might be useful for you to duplicate this drawing somewhere in your notes so that you can refer to this if a question deals with bearings. The way it works is north is considered a bearing of 0 degrees, and the angle increases clockwise towards the east. East is now 90 degrees away from north. Keep increasing. South is 180 degrees away from north. Keep going, 270 degrees is west, and then you're back up to 360 degrees, you're back to facing north again. So a full circle is 360 degrees, and we divide the directions north, south, east, and west into bearings. Okay, so if you're exactly northeast, that's a 45-degree bearing. If you were a little bit more north, however, you'd have to give a different, maybe 37 degrees is your bearing. That means you're 37 degrees towards the east, away from north. Hopefully that makes a little sense. If it doesn't, you can feel free to pause the video and ask me about it before moving on. So here's the example. Bob was supposed to sail his boat 40 kilometers on a bearing of 355 degrees to cross the lake. Pause for a second. Here's where he's starting. He's supposed to sail on this solid line across the lake to the finish line. Notice the bearing is 355 degrees. They're showing that in the drawing. Here's the north line. This dotted line is facing north. 355 degrees around. Now we're on this bearing. So it's a little towards the west, away from north. That's the bearing he was supposed to go on. By the time he realized that he went the wrong way, he had already sailed 32 kilometers on a bearing of 22 degrees. So here we see from the north line, 22 degrees, that's the new bearing. He sailed 32 kilometers. Now he's here. On what bearing must he now sail to reach the finish? So here he is. He needs to get to the finish line. We need to figure out what bearing he needs to travel, what direction he needs to travel from here to here. In order to do that, we need to know what this angle is here. Now, we could figure out that angle if we did the sine law, because it would match up with the 40 kilometer side. We could figure out what this angle is down here, but we would need to know what this side length is so that we can use the sine law to find this angle. So there's going to be quite a few steps here, but that's my method. I want to find this angle in here so that I can figure out the bearing. In order to know that, I have to know this side length first. And then I can figure out what all my different angles are, and then I can figure out what the bearing is. So first I'm just going to redraw this triangle so that it's a little more clear and less cluttered. I'm first going to try to find this side length here, which over here I've labeled it as x. Now down here you might be thinking, why did I write 27 degrees? It says 22 degrees here, but remember, that 22 degrees is 22 degrees away from the north-south line. We still have this tiny little angle in here. A full circle is 360. We've gone 355. That means there's 5 more degrees in that tiny little angle in here. So the total angle in the triangle is 22 plus 5. That's where I got that 27 degrees from. Now I already know that's 40 kilometers, that's 32 kilometers. So I'm going to use the cosine law to find x. The reason I'm using the cosine law is because I don't know an angle and its opposite side. So if I set up the cosine law to solve for x, I end up with 18.5 kilometers from here to here. I'm not going to go into all the nitty-gritty details. Type that into your calculator, take the square root, you should get 18.5 kilometers. Now that I know this side length, I can use that to figure out this angle in here, which I'm just going to pick a letter to represent what it is. How about Q? Now I can set up the sine law. X matches up with sine 27, so 18.5 over sine 27. 40 matches up with the angle Q, so 40 over sine Q. If I cross multiply 40 times sine 27 divided by 18.5 and then do the inverse sine, I should get about 79 degrees as the angle labeled Q. That's this angle in here. Now just remember what the question's asking us to do. It's asking what bearing should he travel from here to get to the finish line. So remember the bearing is how many degrees from north going clockwise. So we need to figure out what this huge angle is here. Now what I've done is I've copied and pasted the image from here up here just to show you that I'm taking this and I'm just sliding it up the line. This north-south line is parallel with this north-south line because they're facing the same direction. And I've just extended this line here. So if you think about the fact that this is a straight line, this angle in here is 180 degrees. And then this angle I already know is 79 degrees. That's what I just found out. And this angle between the north-south line and this line is 22 degrees. So if I put all that together, I can figure out what the bearing is. It's 22 degrees plus 180 degrees plus 79 degrees. So I end up with a bearing of 281 degrees. So Bob must travel on a bearing of 281 degrees to get to the finish. So that was one example that uses bearings and it uses trigonometry, and you have to solve it in more than one step. These practice problems on page 309 will give you more practice using more than one step of trigonometry to solve a problem. It may be not as complex as the one I just did. It might be a little easier. Start with the easier ones, work up to the more complex questions, and if you run into any issues, please reach out for help.